Let me go ahead and get started. So thank you everybody for joining. Today's session is going to be on generative AI. We are super excited to talk to everybody about this. Um, Lots of exciting things with AI right now. There has been so much advancement in AI across the globe. It's a very, very fascinating topic, and it's a field that can revolutionize the way we create and interact with content. So we're very excited to jump in and talk to you about that today. Today, we'll explore what generative AI is, how it works, real life applications, and considerations for use. All right, a quick rundown of today's schedule and agenda. So the first is we are going to talk about generative AI overall. So we're going to do a quick introduction. We're going to talk about how it works, real life applications. We'll do an immersive activity and a demo. And then we'll talk about some considerations and implications of AI, how to get started, and then we're going to do an open answer and discussion section at the end. So please feel free to participate in the chat as well. If you have questions, I'll keep my eye on the chat as we go. That way, if you guys have questions, we'll call stuff out and I can go back to it at the end. All right, so what is generative AI? Generative AI refers to algorithms that can create new content, such as text, images, audio, and even code based on the data that it's been trained on. This technology can significantly enhance creative processes by providing new ideas, automating repetitive tasks, and offering unique solutions. For instance, it can help writers generate story ideas, it can help designers create visuals, graphics, it can help developers write code more efficiently. So we like to show this big kind of quote word example because it shows all that AI can do. Generative AI can be open AIs, Chat GPT. We'll talk about different examples, Meta, all these different AI tools that can create images, text descriptions as well. So this is really exciting. We'll hop to the next slide here. So we're going to talk a little bit about how it works. This is really helpful because oftentimes when people are talking about AI, there's a metaphor that you can use, which is like teaching a child, right? Because oftentimes there will be new information and AI is a tool that learns as it goes. It gets smarter and smarter the more information it gets. So if you think of a toddler or a young child, often they're just learning a ton of new words and information, and they can say words, but they may use the wrong word. They may use a word but not have all the context. And often the parents will teach them, or teachers, how to use it correctly or give even more information so they can continue to learn and grow. So imagine Gen AI as a child, right? And so think of generative AI as a growing child. You start by providing it with a lot of examples and information. And there's different stages in Gen AI and its development. And so we've kind of done this roadmap here today, which is really, really helpful to see how it evolves. So again, if you think of a toddler, right, from 2 to 3, they're just learning words. Then they start developing sentences. Then they have all this information. They're continuing to get feedback and process new information. And then they're continuing to update their output, right, their language and what they use based on conversations, what they hear around them, and what they're learning in school. So here you can see different stages we've outlined, which is training. So first, the AI is trained on a large data set, learning patterns and structures. Input is put into it to help them learn data sets, right? Then there's user input prompt. You can give AI a prompt or a question, which is similar to asking a child, right, to draw a picture or write a story or tell a story. The output is then that the AI tool will generate a response based on what it's learned or the information it already has. User feedback is a really important step because this is where we as the user can provide feedback on the output, guiding AI to improve. So many times you may have used ChatGPT, right, or heard of it. ChatGPT is a tool, and we're going to do a demo today with a different tool, and you guys will get a really clear understanding of what I'm talking about. But what's really cool is when you get that user feedback on a sentence, for example, tell me about outer space, the sentence that they give you, you can then update it and say, please provide a more descriptive answer. This will help guide the AI tool to provide an answer that's more aligned to what you want. So, user feedback is a really important step that helps improve AI. And this is important too. You can see on the slide, for example, if you're first saying, how do I make pancakes, right, as an example, and the output is first you'll put 100 grams of flour. When you get that feedback in this fourth step, you can actually say, how do I make these lower fat pancakes? Or how can I use a recipe that doesn't require eggs? And it can help fine tune a response based on what you need. So it shows how these steps are really important because it continues to feed AI more information so that it's a constant loop giving feedback. So it actually improves the quality of information that the user is getting. Then you can see updated output, which is what we mentioned, that AI updates its response based on the feedback. And finally is user edit judgment, right? So this is all of us. If we're using an AI tool, we can make the judgment on the quality of the content. We may say, oh, this is great. Or we may say, we need to continue to modify it or prompt it again to get more specific answers based on what we're wanting. So this is really important as we get the final information or the recipe, for example, that we were talking about here with pancakes. We can continue to prompt it or ask it questions based on what we're needing. These are crucial as we continue to align our answers. And you can see on the slide, it really helps reduce the number of biases in the information and help AI and the tools provide responses that are best suited for the information that it's been given. So this is just one high-level example. We're going to go into a really exciting demo and activity, but I like to show this is kind of a technical roadmap of how AI works. And when we think of the example of a toddler or a young child and how it grows as its language expands and it's given more information, they're able to speak more clearly, they're able to provide more specific information, and it grows and evolves based on what they're taught and what they hear from parents. So it's really, really helpful. All right. Now we're going to go into some real life application. So what's so exciting about real life application, right? AI can do so much these days. It has evolved so much. Many artists use it for content. You can now type a sentence into an AI tool and say, create a picture for me of a person or a musician with the backdrop of a New York City skyline, and it can generate that image, right? So it can really do anything that you're asking it to do. And from a professional setting, this is always very helpful, especially for creatives. I know a lot of people, the creative career pathways are really, really popular right now. You know, graphic designers, marketing, right? Business tools, photographers, all these things really, really help in terms of creativity because you have access to these tools that can really help expand what you can do and help generate graphics, help generate products, digital artwork, illustrations, which is really exciting. And I see lots of yeses in the chat, which is so exciting. So very, very cool to see how many people have used a lot of these tools. So the first one you can see on the left is image generation. So a lot of you responded yes. Image generation is basically the ability to create stunning visuals from simple text descriptions, right? So this goes back to it's very helpful for artists or designers. AI can do a lot of advanced digital pictures and illustrations, which has evolved so much and is super helpful for creative people. So I would encourage you, if you're a creative and you're into graphics and all those things, try an AI tool. It has some really cool resources. Lots of cool photo editing, image resolution improvement. So you can see that in the first column. The next one is video generation. This is a very, very cool evolution of AI where it can create personalized video messages. It can do video marketing. It can do training materials with cartoons, you name it. There's lots of ways that generating video content through AI can help with marketing, entertainment, education. If you're starting a video or if you're starting a business, if you're a university professor and you're working on tutorials or education and things like that. Then the third column you can see is speech and audio generation. AI can produce realistic speech and audio, aiding in voiceovers, virtual assistants, and more. So you can see some of the topics here: voiceover generation, ringtones, notifications, marketing and audio, music sounds, background music for creative products, and audio translations. This is also very helpful for language translations and captions. You can see the example here. But translation purposes is a really, really popular one. That's one of the examples we'll do today as a group in our demo. This is really a cool way and has really accelerated language use across the globe, because you can type a language into an AI tool and it can immediately translate it into another language, which helps with learning and development, which helps in becoming fluent in other languages. And it also helps with accessibility, making different content accessible in other languages very quickly and rapidly. Another one, which is this last column, is text and code generation. And this is really, really popular with writing articles, generating code in technical aspects. It can help with poetry and writing. And this one's really important because it's so all-encompassing, like all of these, but I think there's such a creative element here that helps people, whether you're a writer and you're writing stories or blog posts. It also can help the businesswoman, right, in organizing their thoughts, creating to-do lists, outlines, developing draft ideas. It can also help from a career standpoint. And this is important. All of you, with learning with Coursera, right? And you're growing in your careers and as professional women. AI is really popular with, helping create new businesses. It's popular with resume development. It's popular with helping write a bio about yourself. So these are really important too, even from professional aspects, because it really can help you grow as a professional and help you expand your ideas, develop outlines, and track how you're growing a business, personal goals, professional goals. There's different things that you can type in and have it help you develop goals. It can have you develop timelines for businesses. If you're starting a business, it can help you in your educational careers. If you're drawn to a specific field of medical or hospitality or nursing, or dentistry, right? There's so many different fields. And this can often help you understand, what career goals, what do you need in this field? What are the requirements? And so would encourage you to utilize AI for any of these possibilities, because it helps helps fine tune what you're writing. It can help you grow as a writer. It can help you develop things very quickly and expediently. So, very, very exciting. Okay, so next slide is on considerations. So, this is really, really important because we just saw all the amazing things that AI can do, right? It can do incredible things. It can generate pictures, it can create content, it can do visuals, it can do videography. There are so many ways, like the sky is the limit with AI, and it's amazing to see all the ways that it's grown and evolved. What's important to note is that there's also really important considerations to take into account. So, one is biases. Generative AI can sometimes reflect biases present in the data, right? So, this goes back to that training data that we talked about. And it's important to be aware because you always want to understand that it is just using data sets from the internet and what it's been given. So it's always important to understand that if you want to make sure that anything that's being generated, if it does exhibit a bias, it's important to understand that that's why human teaching and development in context is also really important because it may give a specific bias because of where you're located or um, because of a specific cohort, right? Or population or something like that. And so it's always important to recognize that the information that's being given is based on other people's information that they've put on the internet, right? Or articles or different things like that. And there's a whole other subset of data that may not be represented. So that's really important to understand. So bias is a big one to just recognize that and make sure that it feels accurate. Two is ethical use. So ensure that AI is used ethically, respecting people's privacy and consent. It's never meant to circumvent or remove or overstep organizational policies, laws, or regulations. So you want to make sure AI is being used in a manner that it's consistent with what you're needing it to be used for, and it's also accurate in terms of laws, policies. If you work for a company, right, you want to be respectful of company policies, organizational laws, regulations, things like that. So it's important to understand, just make sure that AI is used ethically and that it respects protocols and things like that. Hallucination. So this is important in terms of um, models might output facts that are factually false, or sources and citations are unavailable for most models. So hallucination, this means basically in the context of AI, it might generate content that seems plausible or but also can be factually incorrect. Always verify the information. So you want to make sure if you're getting specific information from AI, do your due diligence, validate it, research it, right? You don't want to use AI to only have it research everything for you and not do any research yourself, right? You want to make sure that you're doing your due diligence yourself. You want to go back and fact check and make sure that if you're asking it to write your resume, you want to go back and check all the facts that you had it put in your resume and say, did it put the correct dates for my education? Did it put the correct dates for when I was in graduate school? Right? So you want to go and do your own research too, because this is really important to make sure, like the beginning, there's no biases, but also that it's factually correct because it could spit out information and it could still be inaccurate. And so you want to make sure there's sources and citations for the data that's being provided. And then information protection. This is a really, really big one and cannot stress it enough. for safety using AI. As AI grows and evolves, you want to make sure that you're also, one, making sure you're not putting sensitive information on it. You want to make sure that you're respecting companies' privacy policies. You're also making sure that you're not leaking sensitive information. You want to make sure you're not putting information that is private information or confidential information about yourself or that's sensitive to other people. And so this is really important to recognize, and want to encourage you to really take this one really seriously. Information protection. You don't want to be putting, bank account numbers, credit card numbers. You don't want to be putting anything into a Gen AI tool that gives information about yourself, right? Like one example is a passport number, right? Financial information, even personal addresses. Sometimes you want to be really careful. So even when utilizing AI for resumes or things like that, I wouldn't personally, I myself wouldn't be putting in a personal address into the AI tool, but you can use it for templates and things like that to help know how to structure a resume and things like that. Awesome. So very, very important information. I hope you guys can see all the different ways that it's important to, while AI is so amazing and it's evolving at the speed of light, we also understand that we have to take a step back sometimes and understand there are considerations. So if we work for a company or we go to school, we want to respect the policies in place. And it's always really helpful to ask. So when in doubt, that is always my recommendation, is when in doubt, if you're unsure of, can I use an AI tool? Is this okay? Is this allowed? What can I use this for? It's always just important to ask. So if you're at a university or you work at a job or a company or a firm, it's always better to ask and say, is AI a tool that we can use? Is this a common tool? Are there any limitations? Are there any policies? Or are there anything that is there anything that I should know about AI and policies or protocols in place so that I know if I can use it or not? So I would say, when in doubt, ask, because it's always better to ask than to assume. So if you have questions or considerations, do your own research as well, because AI is growing a lot. There's lots of different opinions on it. This teaching in this session is a general overview of all the different AI tools and resources available, but there's so many other things out there as well, and it's continuing to evolve. All right, and the last one, let me reshare here. All right, getting started. So this is really, really a cool slide because it breaks everything down for everybody really nicely. And I saw a lot of questions in the chat too about these. So getting started. Gen AI is really, really easy to use. These are a lot of common apps. Again, this is a high level one, so not meant to be fully comprehensive, and also not meant to limit you, right? But this is kind of the lay of the land in terms of a quick snapshot and landscape of what's available. And the first one is ChatGPT. This is an open AI tool. It can help with text, user inputs, generate images. It is free for limited usage. You can also get a subscription. I think there was a couple of comments on that in the chat. You can get a subscription for this as well if you want kind of enhanced features for it to be able to do more. You can see the functionalities as well here and what it's able to do. Next, Meta AI. This is referred to as Meta. This is a whole suite and kind of toolkit of different AI tools. Image generation, AI driven tasks, text generation. It's free as well. And then there's also subscriptions similar to ChatGPT in the sense of like advanced and enhanced features. You can see the functionalities. A couple that I'll call out, which are for kind of professional use. Microsoft Copilot. This is a really popular one in the professional and business world because it allows you to do a lot with AI powered assistants, which are integrated into Microsoft Office. And it's kind of this whole enhanced productivity site where you can utilize this for writing suggestions, automations, and data within Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and Outlook. And it's really, really cool. So if you do have Microsoft, you work for a company that makes Microsoft available. Copilot is something that has recently become super, super popular. And then Canva. This is called Magic Write. This is also really, really fun. If I have any creatives on the call, feel free to put in the chat if you're a creative or you like to do content development, graphic design, photography, videography. Canva is incredible. It's very fun. It can take anything and make images. It can create video content. It can create slides and presentations and use remarkable features that are all integrated. So it's an AI powered text generation tool that has integrated it into a design site. And this is really, really awesome if you're looking for graphic or graphic visuals of, for marketing materials, graphics for text generation, social media posts, LinkedIn, networking, all the things. It can do really, really exciting graphics very quickly. This is called Magic Write. I believe most of the features are you need the subscription to the pro account, but there are some limited features that I believe are available in the free account. So would encourage you guys to explore Canva if you're a design person. And mostly you'll have to be Canva Pro for the AI features. But even if you're a design person, as somebody who's used Canva, the free account, I think the free account is amazing and it has incredible features, even if it doesn't have advanced AI powered tools available without that you need the subscription for. I would encourage you to just look on Canva, create a free account because you can still do so much even if it's not the Magic Write, which is that AI feature. So check out Canva if you're a design person. And Nargis, great question. Do you think that images and info shared in AI tools will get leaked? That's a really, really good question and really, really important, even for what we talked about, just in terms of information protection. We have to be so aware that you're putting it into an open AI tool, right? So you don't want to be to put anything confidential or sensitive. So recognizing that and always just using your own judgment, right? And adhering to policies and things, organizationally. And so that's one of those considerations that are really important to go back to and think, is this something that if it potentially got linked or shared or was used for future information, would that be okay? So very, very great question. And the answer is it's important to take that into consideration every time. Yes, there's tons of free features, which is a great point for Canva. I used the Canva free for years and absolutely loved it before I even knew you could create a pro account. And so would encourage people to utilize Canva. It's amazing. And then if you want that Magic Write and kind of those advanced features, there is a subscription. So I hope this helps. And Danya, you said you used it for a poster. Amazing. Yes, Canva has so many remarkable resources. I hope this helps to see the functionalities and the way users can engage with it and the use cases. Again, AI is not limited to these. It's moving at the speed of light across the globe, and it's moving quickly, and people are learning about it fast and getting up to speed. So I hope this was helpful for you guys to see kind of a baseline of what we can use it for, all the exciting ways. And really do your own research. Some of these tools are free, others require a subscription. So consider your needs and your budget and what is possible for you. And each tool has unique features and use cases. So explore them and find the best fit for you. So some people may, love to use ChatGPT. Other people who are design people may prefer Canva. I see a comment on video usage and editing. That's a lot of newer features into AI, and so do your research, really look into what AI tools work the best for video enhancements, video editing. Is it possible to do video editing on AI tools and all those things? Because there are so many different pathways and options of what's available to us for AI, which is really exciting.